Pre-cap, 18 seconds, before explanation. At the start of the film, we see a girl, Jane Foster. She was accompanied by her lecturer and her assistant. They were doing research under the sky. Meanwhile, they see a light coming from the sky. And a huge tornado comes there. A man comes out of it and he was naked. The professor makes him wear some clothes. From here the story shifts to the past. We are shown a scene of Midgard, a kingdom or a world that is in the sky. It is called Asgard. Its lower world means the earth is called Midgard. Some frost giants attack there because they want to occupy Midgard. But then a king comes from Asgard named King Odin. He fights with those giants and defeats them. The name of these giants' leader is Laufey. King Odin badly defeats Laufey and he also has a dangerous weapon. King Odin takes that weapon. That weapon was the strength of any leader. Every kingdom has its own weapon. Its specialty was this: it can freeze anything, and King Odin takes it with him to Asgard. As King Odin reaches the castle, we see his two sons. One is Thor and the other is named Loki. King Odin says to his sons, "Let me take you to a chamber where I have collected weapons." When they go there we see that there was Mjolnir, which means the hammer of Thor in the further movie. There was also a cosmic cube, and then many years passed. Thor and Loki have grown elder. Today was the day when King Odin has to make Thor a king. There was everyone but before King Odin announces that Thor is a king here. A huge problem creates. The frost giants attack there because they come to take their weapons back. The king orders his special security guard to finish them. His name was a destroyer. The destroyer finishes them soon, and then the king, Thor, and Loki go to the chamber. To see that is their weapon is there or not? Luckily, the weapon was there. Thor tells his father that we must exact vengeance on them. His father forbids him from going there because the weapon is safe. Thor says that I will go there so that they will not come here again. Thor goes to his companions and asks them to come with him and to attack Laufey's kingdom. His companions are Grey A and go to that side. Reaching there, they see that there is a security guard. He was the special man of King Odin. He guards that bridge, and it was the way from where they have to reach Laufey's kingdom. The security guard was having a sword from which that way will be open. While using that sword it was possible for them to go to that kingdom. Thor goes inside and he sees that there is none inside. He screams that, "Where are you all? Are you scared of my arrival? Come out and face me." Meanwhile, Laufey comes in front of them and says that none is scared, and now you will get scared. You have made a mistake coming here. And then Thor's brother Loki comes in front. He says to Laufey that, "Forgive us, we will leave from here." Laufey says that not now, and with it, force giants start attacking them. But Thor, while using his thunder power, was killing them. There is a huge fight. Then a force giant holds the hand of Loki. His hand turns like them as he was among them. They were about to win. Meanwhile, a giant monster comes out of Laufey's kingdom. It was about to attack them. But Thor goes inside its mouth and comes from its body while tearing it. Due to it, the monster dies there. Because of it, Laufey's kingdom people get aggressive. They move forward to kill Thor and his team. Then King Odin comes there and Thor says with courage that, "Laufey, now what will you do? My father is also here." But it wasn't like what Thor was thinking. King Odin was there to apologize to Laufey, to sort out the issue, and he can bring his team and sons safely from here. He says to Laufey that, "We have made a mistake, let us go from here." Then Laufey says that the punishment for mistakes is death. If you come here at first to attack us, you can't go back. When King Odin sees that it is not working, he uses his magic. He brings his team back to Asgard, but as they return, Thor's behavior was rude. He says to his father that, "If you couldn't help us, then why you come there? I was about to defeat them. Why do you apologize to him? He is not capable of this." King Odin says to Thor that, "You are misbehaving." Thor then asks, "What should I do? You should not be able to stop me." King Odin says that, "Now I will tell you that. What will you do?" He snatches his dress and powers from him. Even his hammer also, and then Thor was thrown to the Midgard, means to the earth. Down from the Asgard, and his hammer was also thrown. Hammer was thrown somewhere else, and then King Odin says that the hammer will be there, and only the man who deserves it can pick it. The man who will be capable of picking it. Thor, you can get it till you become deserving for it. In the next scene, we see that Thor is in a hospital. Waking up, he sees the doctors, Jane Foster, and that assistant around him. He becomes nervous. He asks that, "Where am I?" Then while beating everyone, he comes out of the hospital. In the next scene, we are shown that Mjolnir was the hammer of Thor. It fell in a city, and the place where it fell, that place was destroyed. The shield makes the boundaries around it. Then an agent comes there, and he was looking interesting after having the hammer. He also wants to do research on it. He was told about Jane Foster and she does research, maybe she knows about this hammer. The agent goes to Jane Foster's home. Even forbidding of Jane Foster, he takes her book from there. She has written the research in it. On the other side, Thor also comes to know about his hammer. Because this news of hammer is spread everywhere. After coming out of the hospital, he asks the people that from where did I get a horse? The people start laughing. The horse, in this age, there is no horse. Meanwhile, Jane comes there and she says to Thor that come you can sit in my car. I can take you to that place because I also have to go there. But please shut your mouth. Reaching there, they see that Thor's hammer is in the tight security. None could touch it. Thor goes inside while killing all the security guards and the people. Because they have occupied his hammer. Finally, Thor reaches the place where the hammer is. He happily picks it but he couldn't lift up the hammer. Thor feels sad and he also comes in anger. Meanwhile, the agents of the shield come there and then lock Thor in jail. Thor sees that Loki is also there. Loki comes to him and says that Thor, you didn't do good. Our father has died because of you. King Odin has died because he was worried about you. Thor feels sad and he was regretting that why he misbehaved with his father. He lost in this thought. At night, the professor who was with Jane comes here. He shows the fake ID card of Thor in jail. He says that he has made mistake, he doesn't know that it was a restricted area. Send him with me and it will not happen again. After escaping from there they drink. But the professor loses his senses and Thor takes him to Jane Foster's home, they sit and start talking. And the professor was taking a rest. Jane asks Thor that tell me about you that from where you came? Thor tells her that I am a son of a king and we rule a kingdom. Jane slightly laughs and says that what are you talking about? Thor says to her let me show you while drawing it. Thor makes a diagram in which there were the 9 kingdoms. He tells Jane that the earth on which you are living is called Midgard. The place where I live is called Asgard. From here the scene shifts to Asgard. We are shown that Loki told a lie that King Odin has died, he is alive yet. But he was unconscious and Loki was sitting near him. Here Loki was thinking that he will kill King Odin. Because he wants that his son Thor will become a king. Loki wasn't there actual, so that's why he doesn't want to make Loki a king. He was planning King's death. He will rule here, because Thor is already on the earth. He goes to the forest where was the freezing gadget. It means the weapon of Laufey. Taking it, he reaches to the way where that security god was protecting the path. He refuses Loki that I am sorry I can't open the door for you. Loki says okay and with it, while using the weapon he makes that security guard frozen. He reaches Laufey's kingdom while taking his sword. Going there, he says to Laufey that you have to do work for me. You have to kill King Odin. As you will do this I will give your weapon back. Like this, you will have your powers and I will also become a king. Laufey says that it is a good deal and I accept it. Loki returns and Thor's friends stop him. They say that how the devil is your thinking. We know what are you doing then Laufey makes them quiet. Saying this, that I will become your king soon. That's why it's better for you to stay silent. But Thor's friends are brave like Thor, they go to Midgard to tell Thor everything. They tell the plans of Loki to Thor. He has created this scene so that he can become king. Thor becomes aggressive after hearing it. Loki also knows it so he goes to the special security guard of the king. It was made of metal, Destroyer. Loki orders him to go to the earth and kill Thor and his companions. Destroyer obeys Loki and goes to Midgard. Going in front of Thor's companion he was about to kill them. Meanwhile, Thor comes in front and he says Destroyer stop and competes with me. It doesn't matter for Destroyer. He hits Thor and Thor falls at distance. Because he hasn't his dress and hammer. From where he will get the powers. He becomes injured but here a miracle happens. Do you remember what did King Odin said, that he will not get the hammer, till he becomes capable of it. Thor has done the work that now he deserves the hammer. He has sacrificed for his friends. He has his dress and hammer back. Now Thor was feeling powerful. Here Thor destroys Destroyer with his hammer. Thor returns with his team. The security guard was frozen by Loki. While using his power he breaks the ice and comes out. He opens the path for Thor. When Asgard opens the people of Laufey's kingdom also come there. Laufey was about to attack King Odin. As Loki ordered him to do. Here Loki plays a trick and he kills Laufey. In front of his father's eyes to impress him. That he saved his father's life. Then Loki goes towards the bridge. He was about to take out a dangerous beam after activating it. To destroy the place. To rule his kingdom. And none will come to stop him. And Thor comes there, none is born to stop him. Thor says to Loki that you will not restrain. Loki says that no, I will take out beams from it. Thor says okay. After it, he strikes his hammer on that bridge. Due to it, that bridge was destroyed. Loki was surprised after seeing it as the bridge breaks they were about to fell. Meanwhile, King Odin comes there who holds the hand of Thor, and Loki was holding Thor's hand. But when he realizes that he was not able to impress his father, he leaves his hand from Thor's hand. It spreads everywhere that Loki died because of falling from the bridge. King Odin comes to Thor and says that till I am alive, I wish to see my son become a king in front of my eyes. Thor says to his father that I have to do huge tasks. And want to become like you. When I will be capable of this, then you can make me king. Now at the end of this part, we see that Loki is not dead. He will return in the part 2. With it, part 1 ends here. Now I will explain part 2. As part 2 starts, we are shown the scene where was the father of kind Odin. It was his era. At that time, his enemy was Malekith, and he also has a weapon. It was his strength. Malekith wants to attack and occupy all the 9 kingdoms. But King Odin's father doesn't let this happen. He sends Malekith and his companions far at a distance while defeating them. And he buried Malekith after taking his weapon. When Malekith realizes that his weapon is taken from him, and there is not an ordinary man in front of him but a great king, then he calls his companion. He says that it is better for us to take a deep sleep, and when the time will get better we will be back. We will also get our weapons back. Malekith and his strange companion take a deep sleep. Now the story comes to the present. Malekith was still sleeping. Well, it is a separate story, and if we talk about Asgard, everyone knows there that Loki tried to deceive his father, to become good in front of his eyes. Now he was caught because he wasn't dead, he is alive. Thor was taking him to King Odin. After it, in the next scene, we see Thor who was fighting nicely. He does these fights to save his kingdom. And for those who can't do anything for themselves, who were weak, they ask for help from Thor. It was Thor's goodness that he helped them. Then Thor goes to his father and starts talking to him. And we come to know that the Bifrost Bridge is repaired again. Now it is working. King Odin tells Thor that son, the time is coming when the 9 kingdoms will be in an alignment. A portal will open as they gather. Malekith stated that he will return when the time comes. So you should be careful. On the other side, and we see Jane Foster and her assistant. They were talking about the topic that is there these kinds of portals? They come to know that there is an abandoned building and they get suspicious that why nobody goes there? Let's go there, but this was their mistake. Because there were some portals that if any object will be gone inside, even humans, they will vanish. Fell on the other corner of the world. When Jane was seeing the portal, she falls inside the portal. And you know where she arrived? In the depth of the earth where the father of King Odin hides Malekith's weapon. As she hits that place, all the powers of the weapon come in Jane Foster. The protector of the Bifrost Bridge also knows it. He goes and tells Thor that you asked me to keep an eye on Jane Foster. But I am not seeing her anywhere in the world. Is anything happened to her? He says him to send him to the earth immediately. I will go and see. Now Thor was at Midgard. And Jane till then arrived there on the earth. When she sees Thor, she slaps him that you come here in this getup. If someone will see you, what will people say? But it happens reverse. The police come there and they catch Jane and asks her that day why you slap him? But to touch Jane was costly for the police because some electric waves were coming out of Jane. Due to it, the police officer falls at distance. Seeing it, Thor comes to know that his friend now has the abilities. It means the powers of Malekith's weapon. He takes her with him to Asgard. When King Odin sees her, he knows that Jane has no good powers and now Malekith will return. Now his weapon is connected with Jane. Jane's life is also at risk. Take care of her and it happens the same. Malekith wakes up from his sleep. He orders his companion to attack Asgard, so that he can take the weapon back to Malekith. After it, Malekith will return in his real getup here. Now Malekith comes to know that his weapon is connected with Jane Foster. He comes there and he was about to get his weapon after killing her. Meanwhile, Thor's mother comes there who saved Jane's life. But during this, she lost her life. She sacrifices for Jane, but then Asgardians come there. Malekith and his companion get scared and run from there. Malekith was not so powerful yet because he hasn't his weapon. Thor comes to know that Malekith has killed his mother. He becomes aggressive. Being aggressive, he will take revenge on Malekith. He goes to Loki and tells him that Malekith has killed our mother. Come with me, we will take revenge on him. Loki also comes in anger and they together go there. When Thor and Malekith arrive there, they see that Jane is also with Malekith. He is trying to take out his weapon from her. Jane can lose her life. This thing makes Thor scared, but Malekith soon takes out his weapon from Jane. Thor comes in anger while using his thunder powers. He tries to break the weapon, but he couldn't do this. Now Malekith has his weapon, and he was so strong. Malekith moves from there in his spaceship. He says that I will come that day when all kingdoms will gather here. Then we see that the special assistant of Malekith injures Loki. Here he sacrificed for Thor. That Malekith's companion would kill him and Thor can go from here. Now Jane takes Thor to the portal from where they can go to the world. There she meets with the professor and her assistant. The professor tells them that if we will go to the center we can stop Malekith to occupy the 9 kingdoms. Then they go to the place where Malekith will come. They also have advanced weapons so that they can fight with Malekith easily. Malekith also arrives there, but meanwhile, a portal opens from which Malekith and Thor come somewhere else. Then Thor hits an idea. He brings the spaceship of Malekith and hits him. Due to it, he dies. Malekith was no more. The one who was showing power was no more. This fight was over now. After it, Thor goes to his father King Odin, and tells him that I have killed Malekith. King Odin says that Thor, now I will surely make you king, but Thor says that still, I am not strong like you. Then we see that there was Loki in place of King Odin. With it, part 2 ends. Here. Now I will explain Thor part 3. Its name is Thor, Ragnarok. So let's start the movie. Here we come to know that a stone from Malekith's weapon was sent somewhere. Thor was searching for it, and while searching he reaches Hel. But then he meets with Fireskull. He holds it and hangs him. Thor asks him that why you hold me? Fireskull says that are you seeing the fire burning inside me? This is not the eternal fire. But soon the day will come when there will be the eternal fire inside me. I will become immortal and will occupy all the kingdoms. Not even you or any of your kingdom will be escaped. Thor asks him that why are you so proud? Fireskull says that are you seeing my horns? How beautiful they are. They strengthen me. Thor says that let me show you my strength. With it, he opens his hand and his hammer appears in his hand. It was Thor's beloved hammer. Now Thor goes in front of Fireskull. Fireskull calls his other companions made of fire. They fight with Thor. Thor easily defeats them. Meanwhile, a dragon comes there who is willing to kill Thor. Thor hits an idea and he says that none can touch my hammer except me. He puts his hammer in that dragon's mouth so that with its weight it will fall down. It happens the same. The dragon falls down and then Thor moves to the Fireskull. While using his hammer he also kills him. And he also pulls his skull. Thor lifts his skull and says that open the portal. It means the door of the Bifrost Bridge. It was opened and Thor sees that there is not old protector. There is someone else instead of him. The dragon who was following Thor also comes to Asgard behind Thor. Then the door closes but the face of the dragon is inside and the body was outside. It divides into 2 pieces. The new security guard tells Thor that Loki has appointed him. Loki has terminated the old protector. Thor says that what is this? Then he comes to another place while flying with his hammer. There was a play going on. King Odin was sitting there, and the character was playing Thor and Loki. Everyone was seeing this play. It was shown to the people that Loki is more appreciable than Thor and he is brave and super. Thor comes in anger and he notices that there wasn't King Odin, he was Loki. He has adopted the get-up of King Odin. Thor goes to King Odin who is Loki. He asks him to come in his genuine get-up instantly. I know that you are Loki, but Loki didn't obey him. Thor says that okay, you will not agree like this. He throws a hammer and it again comes into his hand. He again throws his hammer and says that Loki, if you will not return in your get-up, this time this hammer will hit your face. Being scared, Loki comes in his get-up. They all get surprised after seeing it. Thor moves forward to Loki. He asks him that tell me where is my father? Why did you wear his get-up? Did you hide him somewhere? Loki says that Thor, I don't know where is he, but we can search for him together. In the next scene, we see that they come into a city. It was the present world and then a portal opens in the earth and Loki goes into it. Thor finds a chit from the ground. An address was written on it. He follows it. When he reaches there he sees that there was Doctor Strange. Thor asks him about his father. Then Doctor Strange says that yes, I know where is he. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange opens a portal there, from which Loki falls. Now they send them both, means Thor and Loki, to a place. There was King Odin. When King Odin sees his sons he says that now I'm going to die. I don't have much time. Thor says to his father that why are you talking like this? Do you know? I have also killed Fireskull. Who was saying that he will be Ragnarok. King Odin says that you killed him, but he didn't tell you that when he gets the eternal fire he will revive. And he will return. We have to be careful about this. King Odin says that let me tell you about one more girl. She has the powers of the devil. Her name is Hela and she is from hell. Now it's time for me to die and she will be free from imprisonment. You also have to be careful of her. With it, King Odin changes into the golden dust. He goes far from there means now King Odin was also no more. They have to fight Hela alone. Then Hela comes there. In a black dressing. That's why her name was suiting her personality. She asks Thor and Loki to bend in front of her but Loki refuses. Thor throws his hammer to that witch. But Hela instantly turns it into many pieces. It means she has dangerous powers. Now Loki and Thor return Asgard. But Hela also chases them. She moves them from that way while pushing them. Hela arrives in Asgard and there she sees that new security guard. There were 2 more men with him. Hela kills them immediately because they don't bend in front of her. Then she moves to that new security guard. He says to Hela that don't kill me, I bend in front of you. I will obey you. She says that you can use your mind nicely. I am glad that you bend in front of me. You will get benefit from it, otherwise, you will be killed. On the other side, we see Thor who fell to another planet because Hela pushed her. There was scrap. Meanwhile, a spaceship comes there and many aliens come out from it. Those aliens attack Thor. Thor was also fighting with them. He was fighting with his hands because he hasn't his hammer. But then one of the aliens throws a strong net on him. Then one more spaceship comes there. A girl comes out of it and she kills all of the aliens. Then she takes Thor with her. That girl takes Thor to the Grandmaster of that planet. He rules here. They tie Thor with a chair. The girl who brings Thor to the Grandmaster, her name was Valkyrie. She was paid for this. The Grandmaster tells Thor that I have called you here because here I organized a wrestling competition. You seemed very strong. You are powerful and you have to fight for me. Thor says that no, I am not interested. I just want to go back to my kingdom. Leave me. The Grandmaster says that how can I leave you? Then Thor sees Loki. He was there and Thor says to the Grandmaster that see my brother is also here. Why don't you take him to this contest? He is very strong. Loki says that no, I am not his brother, he is lying. The Grandmaster says that whatever is it. Thor, I want you. Because I know that you are the god of thunder. Thor still refused. Then the Grandmaster says that okay, if you will fight for me in this contest and win it I will give you a new spaceship. In which you can return to Asgard. Thor says that okay. After it, Thor was sent to a room in which there was Rockman. The Rockman tells Thor that the man whom you will fight is very strong. None can defeat him till today, so choose your weapon carefully to defeat him. Thor says that what could I tell you, I had my personal hammer. From which I can get a lot of power. If I had that hammer I will defeat him easily. The day comes when it was Thor's wrestling competition. His hair was cut and he has worn a new dress. On the other side, we see Hela who is creating drama in Asgard. She was saying to all forcefully to bend in front of her. But none was bending in front of her. Then among them, Thor's friend comes out and he says that what do you think you are? You can't rule us. There is a fight between Thor's friendly team and Hela. Hela wins and then she takes that deceiver security guard with her. He bends in front of her. She shows her a picture and tells him that these were the 9 kingdoms. Odin and I come here together to attack. He imprisons me and he himself becomes the king and occupied this place. From there, they reach the chamber. There were unique things and different weapons. Here we also see Cosmic Tube. Eternal fire also. Seeing it, Hela becomes happy and she takes some fire and goes inside it while breaking the beam. She goes to the place where her companions were killed. There she spread the fire. The dead people begin to revive there. And her animal pet who was a black wolf, it was looking giant and dangerous. Now Hela makes that deceiver protector her companion. Then she moves to the Bifrost Bridge. She comes to know that there is no sword from which the door opens. You know who took it? This was his sword, yes, that old security guard. He took the left Asgardians with him. Because he knows that their life will be in danger because of Hela. And we see the scene when the fight of Thor begins. Before it, he meets Valkyrie and he sees that there is a mark on her hand. This mark belongs to the hands of the fighters of Asgardians. Thor says to her that you were among us, then why you take me here? He comes to know that Valkyrie has done all this for the sake of money. She ignores him and moves from there. She doesn't say anything to save him and then the fight begins. He sees that there is none other than Hulk is opposite him. He shouts with happiness because Thor and Hulk have good understanding and they were friends, but here Hulk doesn't recognize him. Everything was changed with the passage of time. Then there was a huge fight among them, and because Hulk was a giant he was punching Thor. Now because Thor has no hammer and power, so he was defeating. He was also injured. He was about to faint. He sees the vision of his father. His powers were recovering. Thor stands up and beats Hulk. But the Grandmaster wasn't happy to see all this, and he gives an electric shock to Thor. He doesn't want that he defeat Hulk. Because Hulk was winning for many years. We see that when Thor wakes up after being faint, he sees that he is in the room of Hulk. He asks Hulk, how did you come here? Hulk tells him that through a jet plane. Thor also tries to go out from there, but due to electric fields, he couldn't go out. Then Thor again closes his eyes and he sees that old security guard in his vision. He takes him with him and shows him the condition of Asgard. It was worse. Hela has spread destruction everywhere. Asgard needs you and you have to return. When he opens his eyes he sees that he is still in Hulk's room. He again tries to go out from there. He also says to Valkyrie, but she doesn't tell him anything. Thor himself jumps from the window and goes himself. He tries to run towards the jet plane. He reaches the plane, but then Hulk also comes behind. He was coming to hold him, but then Thor plays a video there. Seeing that video, Hulk becomes a human. It means Bruce. The Grandmaster thinks that Thor has taken his special creature with him. For his benefit. He says Loki to bring Thor to me. No matter dead or alive, now Loki and Valkyrie they come out, and Loki tells that girl that we are genuine brothers. I can't let him die. They make a team and go to Thor. Now Thor, Valkyrie, Loki, and Bruce steal the spaceship of that Grandmaster. They move to Asgard. On the other side, we see Hela, who was teasing Asgardians. She was threatening them to kill them. She asks everyone, that tells me where is that sword? And where that security guard took it. Meanwhile, a man comes out of them and says that don't kill us, I will tell you. Hela reaches the location. The security guard was also there who she was chasing. Thor's spaceship also arrives there and Valkyrie says that I will fight with Hela. Then we see that the Black Wolf was coming from the front, who was about to attack them. Then Bruce says that I will see it. As he jumps down he fell because he was not Hulk. While crossing him the wolf moves forward. But soon Bruce changes into Hulk. And he fights with the Black Wolf. On the other side, Loki has also brought a spaceship. He asks Asgardians to go inside it so that they will be saved. Then we see that deceiver security guard who was with Hela. But he was against Hela. When he sees that Asgardians are innocent and Thor is working hard. He fights with Hela. Then we see that Hela presses Thor's neck. She fights with him and here he was weakening. Because he hasn't his hammer and Hela was strong, and then he sees a vision. In which he sees his father, and then the thunder powers come in him. And he becomes powerful. Coming outside he punches that bridge forcefully. To destroy it and to finish everything here, but then he remembers what his father said. That Fire Skull will return, and he says to Loki that it will not be over till Fire Skull come here. Gives him eternal fire and brings him here. Loki goes and places his skeleton into the eternal fire. Due to it, Fire Skull revives. He has arrived there and Hela was sacred of him. Reaching there he puts his sword in the Asgard. Due to it, Hela dies and Asgard was also destroyed because of it. There was fire everywhere. We see Thor, who was in the spaceship with Asgardians and his team. He says that now we will live on the earth safely. Asgardians say to him that you are our king, and here Thor finally becomes the king of Asgardians. With it, this movie ends here. 3 parts of Thor are complete. Thank you for watching.